I would like to talk about being resourceful versus having resources. All right, let's go over this. A resource is like money, time. Actually, medication is a resource. Okay, you have an education, that's a resource. You can go somewhere and say, I know that, and because of that, I can do that, and they might hire you, blah, blah, blah. So, you have those type of things as a resource. Certain tools, everything, that's a resource. If you have a drill, a high-speed drill, you can drill a hole much more easy than if you don't have a high-speed drill. So the tool becomes a resource. You might have had to need it, you might have needed money as a resource to get the tool. All right, you got that. Resourcefulness is how do you make things happening without the resources? Or let me put it this way, how your resourcefulness will get the resource you need. And here it gets tricky for most people because most of us get stuck in thinking we need this resource. We need money to get marketing. We need money to go to college. We need money to build a house. We cannot go over there because there's a big wall. We have no resource of door. There's no door. There's no resources to go through. All kinds of things. I'm grasping for straws here. But it is the resourcefulness which makes people go way up there. Those are the people who perhaps free a country like India from the English people by being resourceful and without any force, by simply saying, well, we're just not going to play ball and we're not going to buy from you and we're just not going to comply quite as well as with what you do, what you want us to do, and by doing so we'll starve you parasites to death and you will have to leave. That's a resourceful way of doing it, and in that big resourcefulness, I'm sure there were hundreds of other resourcefulnesses needed. Okay, a child who wants to become a doctor and needs to become resourceful to make it happening for whatever reason is the kid who will also afterwards make it happening. Okay, because once resourcefulness and winning in life or giving up in life or not being resourceful, those are habit forming. They're addictive, all of them. The good side and the bad side. They're not being resourceful and they're being resourceful are habit forming. They're addictive both ways. I am coming up as a winner. I am not. I'm walking away. It's too much work. I don't have the resources. Okay? It's also habit forming, so thus it's also addictive. One needs to work on it. So for instance, many business owners, let's just say they do okay in business. Let's just say they are okay in technical facts, but we just don't have enough money to market, or I don't have enough time for my family. Let's use that one, in fact, you know what I mean? The time for the family. Well, that gentleman or that lady who doesn't have enough time for family or for self, you know, because usually they don't have enough time for themselves also. Well, could be that they just want to work 99 hours a week constantly. I was definitely part of those people at one point also. And nothing wrong while you want that, and while nothing or nobody else suffers. But a resourceful person would find ways not to work so hard. He wouldn't just come home and say, well, I'm working my butt off, and why can't you guys be more understanding? I'm tired, I'm exhausted, let me sleep, let me do this. I don't want to go to Yellowstone on this weekend. I just want to lay home and be a couch potato. I work so hard. Well, he's just not resourceful enough to manage both areas of life. A person who doesn't understand marketing is just not resourceful enough to A, understand it, or to make it happening without him understanding it, but make it happening anyway. If he doesn't have enough money to do the marketing, well, he's not resourceful enough to A, make the money, or to get it done anyway. With paying later, with bartering, with millions of ways, most likely. I mean, again, that's why it's called resourcefulness. It's different for everybody. Have you ever noticed that when you tell a guy, a person, with a problem, a solution, he usually will tell you 5 reasons why he can't do your solution? I'm a consultant for 25 years, and trust you me, I know about that. It doesn't really work to give people solutions. The only thing which works is to become resourceful for them. And there are ways of doing that. But the most important way is first to look at it. Not being resourceful and saying, I don't have enough resources, is really saying I'm a victim. People love to be a victim. Oh, it's so good because there's nothing I can do. After all, there are no jobs out there. Nobody's finding a job. 80% of my school colleagues have no job. 80% of my doctor friends are suffering and just getting by. The resources are not there. The patients are not as good as it used to be. It's the insurance, it's the government, it's all them who do all that. True, 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 absolutely true. But you were not resourceful enough to make it happen. Some way or another. Maybe that resourcefulness even includes getting out of your goddamn profession, which apparently in your mind doesn't make it anymore, and do something else. But right away you'll tell me, I can do that. I invested 20 years in this. I was... Oh, okay, no solution will work. Of course not. I'm trying to make a really point here about the resourcefulness. You know, I mean, animals, if they want to escape something, you know, enormous resourceful how they are. Under the fence, over the fence, side the fence. I mean, woo. I mean, you have, I'm sure, seen some of those videos from rats and mice and cows and dogs and name it, who are like enormously resourceful to get what they want, where they want, and whatever it is. Look at the area of life which could go better and go, okay, the 3 ways I know that it can't be done, let's forget about them for a minute, completely. Let's not look at those barriers. Let's actually try to invent, even though the things I now invent will not possibly work because they can't work, but let's try to come up with hypothetical shit which could possibly make it working, and come up with lots of that hypothetical shit, and all of a sudden part of that hypothetical shit that just might be, you go, you know, that one could work. Okay, so you got to learn how to perhaps make a couple of detours in order to get where you want. Okay? This is what resourcefulness is all about. When you do that, and if you do that, life will look very, very different. Not enough patients for a doctor because the insurance business and all kinds of other things, and no money for them to do elective work. There are about as many ways. There are way more ways to fix that with a little bit of resourcefulness. And resourcefulness could be, I'm going to be self-serving here. At the risk of being self-serving, I will be self-serving. Hiring the right consultant who maybe knows about it, on how to do it. But I guarantee you this, getting more new clients, better paying clients in any business you're in, no matter how much difficulties you now have, there are more ways of getting where you want to be with your new clients than you can come up with ways it doesn't work. Now, provided your mindset, because after all, it has been said 1,000,000 times for thousands of years, it starts here. If you want to be a victim and not have the resources, your life will continue doing what you do. If on top of it you expect it to change, you're insane. I didn't say that, Einstein said that. I just brought it again home to you. If you, however, want to be resourceful, and start completely forgetting and thinking about all the ways which couldn't work in your mind, and maybe correctly so in your mind, except looking at the obstacle never gets you to the goal. Never, 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 never does. You always go where the obstacles are. What do you think why war on crime gets more crime, war on poverty gets more poverty, war on terror gets more terror? And why do you think when you drive with a car and you look at this big truck coming along and you're scared of it, oh my God, that sucker is close, oh my God, you start looking at the truck, which happens to be an obstacle, a big one too. If you drive some little dinky BMW or a Mini Cooper or anything for that much, and the chances of hitting that truck will be huge. Why? Because that's what you saw. You didn't see the dinky little empty road over there. You didn't see that, and thus you didn't go there. You know, people who run into trees when skiing, I'm sure here and there just happens to be a tree when you fly with a high speed over some ramp and all of a sudden, boom or whatever. Yeah, it could potentially happen. But most people who run into a tree when skiing run into that tree on a big, wide, empty field. I know so. I've never run into a tree, thanks God, but I'm a skier. I've seen it. And I know why. When you ski down, you go where you look. And if you look at the tree because you get scared, because oh my God, there's a oh my God, you automatically will go there. You will hit that tree, even though for purpose there wasn't anything around for quite a big area. So, if you want to look at your obstacle and not be resourceful, to look for solutions, whether that happens to be, how can I be more with my family despite the fact that I make so much money already? So you're super successful in one area. It's no excuse not to be super successful in the other area also. Or whether that is, I'm the best technician in car mechanic or in air condition mechanic or in clothes making mechanic or in dentistry or in lawyering, and why don't I have clients? Well, be resourceful on how to become a better businessman, a better marketing people. All roads lead to Rome, but you got to start driving. You got to start walking on that road of looking. And if all you want is to make your next step safe and make sure that you not already lose more than you already have, or that you don't lose anything you already have, or that everything works out, that before you do everything is sure, that's not called resourcefulness. It's called all kinds of names in the world out there. Suicidal is one of them. I am giving it. Kind of like giving it a stamp of being unhappy, of not reaching your goal ever. That's the only security you get by not daring to venture into other areas with resourcefulness. The only security you have is possibly to be that your life keeps being what you are. And most likely that is descending. So go to that other side, check us out, and perhaps you can ask a question. I'll answer the question. You get an answer within a few days, or a week or 10 days at the most, a very personal answer from me about anything in your life you think you might want to have more resourcefulness. Again, keep in mind, I can't really be the resourcefulness for you, but I can get that well on the way, which is part of that resourcefulness. But in the end, a changes are that I will hear from you, well, that won't work for me, that won't work for me. But if you realize that, oh my God, I'm doing that again, and then keep coming back with questions after questions and with things like that, you will soon have a change of attitude, and you will actually soon think resourceful all the time. That doesn't mean everything comes like wishing and here it is. It just means all of a sudden there's a potential way of making it. Thank you very much.